Next week, I am turning 30. Well, that sounds weird. I'm not like upset about turning 30, but I did my best to collect my thoughts into this still jumbled stream of consciousness just to sort of reflect on turning 30 and what that feels like. So, my life up until this point has all been plans, 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 dreams, dreams, dreams. Someday, someday, someday. Like, someday I'm going to be rich. One day I'm going to get lots of tattoos. I'll be covered in tattoos. One day I'm going to Thailand and Japan and Scotland and Ireland. One day I'm going to just know what I'm going to be. I'm going to just know what I'm supposed to do. Someday I'm going to have the perfect wardrobe. Someday I'm going to live out my adult years in this beautiful cabin in a mountain. Someday I'm going to have that big savings account, that savings account that everyone tells you you're supposed to have. But in the last couple of weeks here, I've realized I'm 30. I'm 30. What are the chances now that all these someday plans are gonna actually come to fruition? I have one tattoo. What are the chances I'm gonna get all those tattoos I plan to get? When and how am I really actually gonna get to Thailand? Really? So upon approaching 30, the dynamic between dreaming and reality has shifted a bit. Like, yeah, of course, keep dreaming, always keep dreaming. But this new form of being realistic, this new perspective through which to be realistic is emerging. For example, one day I'm just gonna have the best job and it's gonna be a career and I'm gonna love it. Girl, you're 30 now. What do you think's gonna fall into your lap? I guess I'm approaching this age now where it's possible that my circumstances aren't going to change. At least not very drastically. Has my life stabilized? Am I at where I'm gonna be? I am at someday now. This someday, I'm gonna blah, 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 someday. I'm at someday. This is someday. I'm 30. As a 30-year-old, I have to wonder, am I ever gonna get to the point where I'm making six figures or whatever? Realistically, I don't think I'm gonna get rich anymore. And I don't know if everyone was like this, but when I was a kid, I was like, when I'm old, I will be rich. Old is rich. When you're a grown up, you're rich. Your parents are rich. But yeah, now I'm halfway too old and have made no progress towards getting rich. I know rich is relative, of course, and I know this sounds very materialistic. I'm 30, I should be rich. That's not what I'm getting at. So just bear with me as I move forward along this stream of consciousness. I can afford my little short-term goals, like buy a Whitesnake shirt at the Whitesnake concert, or buy paint to paint my walls. That stuff, that's doable. That's a great thing. But again, it's just things. Now that I'm saying all this in front of the camera, though, I kind of feel like an idiot. Because I still have 30 to 40 more years of an active life, hopefully. 30 to 40 more years to make this progress that I'm worrying about. But still, these are the thoughts that have been crossing my mind, so I'm going to get the thoughts out. But when you're 30, you kind of, I guess the image that you have of yourself when you turn 30 is I'm gonna have my forever home, or I'm gonna be established in whatever type of way. And now I'm am I ever really gonna be able to design and construct my castle in the woods, in the mountains? Will I ever actually be able to get 7-ish cats? When you realize that now is the time to fulfill your childhood dreams and ideas and passions and goals, and the time has just come up so quickly and it's passing by, you're oh, this stuff didn't happen. And part of that's because you're like in a different position than you thought you would be by now, you know? This is my adulthood. I'm an adult. I'm a grown up. I've arrived. My adulthood is happening right now. It's not a far off destination anymore. It's this. I'm at adulthood. I'm no longer floating somewhere in between teenager and adult. Like, I'm at adult. And this is where I've ended up. Here we are. Everything up until this point has been like forward motion, like future envisioning. And now 30 does kind of feel like the top of this hill where you've like arrived. This is the time that you've been moving forward to. And up until now, your whole future, like everything has just been kind of like up in the air because you never know how it's going to turn out. And now it's like landed because you're at the future. I think I'm being repetitive, but just let me get it out. Okay, I want to stop talking about all the things that didn't happen, you know, because on one hand you're like, oh, all my extravagant dreams didn't turn out. But let's talk about what did happen. Like, wow, I'm a grown-up. I'm legit. I'm established. A common expression of gratitude in my household is a quote from Alien from the movie Spring Breakers. Look at all my It's important to take a moment just to shout that out. I've been complaining about not having a mansion by now. I don't want you to think I'm that materialistic, but something about, I don't know, the childhood perspective. Like, well, I'm going to have a big house. Well, I'm going to have nice clothes, blah, blah, blah. And it's not really about that anymore. When you shift your perspective back to now, and like my situation now, I have a house, and that's amazing. I have everything I need. I have a husband and cats, and it's cool. And I have a job. It's not an important job, but it's a job. But yeah, why is it that my 30-year life review involves assessing whether or not I obtained material things? It's ridiculous. I don't really know what I'm defining my life with. I don't know, y'all. To be honest, I don't want to say I'm lost, but I just feel like I'm basically just doing things that I like, you know, like watching my favorite shows. I'm spending time in nature. I'm going to concerts. I want to start making art. I'm just like having fun. And I guess that's what it's about. I guess that's what it's about. But I don't know where you're supposed to be at by the time you're 30. And this whole age thing is just made up anyway. Like, just think if nobody was labeled by their age. Wouldn't that be weird? But I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. My parents should be proud. I've done some awesome. I'm not a criminal. I'm doing all right. But I do need to readjust my perspective. I guess from like a back in time, little kid, big dreams, I'm gonna have everything I want perspective to like this present perspective of being an adult and being thankful and being grateful and being aware and conscious of all the things I have. Even though it is so easy to compare your current self with the self you had imagined, or to compare yourself with your 30-year-old cousin who's a freaking rocket scientist and super duper successful, or to compare your 30-year-old self with the 30-year-old like societal archetype or something. Nobody's life turns out the same, and comparing does nothing. And I usually don't compare, but sometimes you just get caught up in it, you know? But anyway, I don't really think about my age that much because I don't look 30 and people don't think I'm 30 and I don't feel 30. And I don't have like a regular 30-year-old lifestyle, at least not in my region. So it's not like this is a huge deal for me because it's this invisible label that you don't even have to adhere to. But even though I don't really think about age that much, it is weird because my whole life up until now, like I've always had this like self-identity that I don't like consciously think about, but you know, it's always there. I'm young, I'm young, I'm young, I'm a kid, I'm a young adult, I'm young. Everything's ahead of me, I'm young. And now I'm reaching this point where I'm kind of moving away from young. One day that's not going to be my identity. One day I'll be like, I'm a middle-aged woman. That feels weird. Probably part of why it's so weird is because I still just feel like a kid. But anyway, did this make any sense? I probably seem ungrateful and upset that I'm not rich. But that's not what I mean. I mean, like, life doesn't turn out the way you expect it to when you're little. And although there's kind of this moment where you're like, oh, I guess I'm not going to get that. It's not going to turn out like that. It's still okay. Like, life is still awesome. So I hope I continue to always prefer my present over my past. And yes, my 30s will be awesome. So, this may be one of the last times you see me at age 29 because I turned 30 next week. I might be 30 by the time you get this video too. So, 30. Dirty 30? Dirty 30? As a 30-year-old woman, I will continue to play with toys and play dress up and play video games and watch cartoons and participate in general, as my mother calls it, foolishness. All right. Happy my birthday.